Mr. Victor Karlsson discusses the budget presentation made at the March 7th Board of Education meeting.
Welcome, Brewster Schools community, to my first podcast, which is a recap of budget presentation number 1 that was delivered at the Board of Education meeting on Tuesday, March 7th. I'm going to run through a couple of slides that I shared with the Board of Ed and the community. Some of the challenges that we're facing here in Brewster, and also many other schools across the state are also sharing the same challenges. We have changing demographics. Our students require more services than ever before. We have state aid uncertainty, as you may hear in the news. We are fighting a battle with the foundation aid formula, and Brewster's allocation is well below what the state had promised us when the legislation came into law 10 years ago. We're also entering year 6 of the allowable tax levy legislation, which is more commonly known as the tax cap. And despite those challenges, we are striving to implement a bold strategic coherence plan. So I'm going to give you some numbers of our changing demographics based on a measure of need. So our economically disadvantaged students has increased from 11% to 29% over the past 6 years. Special education classifications have increased from 13% to 14%. And English as a new language students have increased from 4% to 7%. So again, our students require more services than ever before, despite the state's formula, which is limiting our state aid allocation. We're also entering year 6 of the allowable tax levy legislation, again, more commonly known as a tax cap. For 17-18, our tax cap number is 2.04%, and that number is within the state's calculation. It is sometimes misnomered as a 2% tax cap, and that's actually not the case. 2% is just one factor in the calculation. So Brewster's tax cap number is 2.04 for the 17-18 school year. At Tuesday's meeting, we also discussed our fixed costs relating to transportation and facilities. Our transportation department budget is increasing 1.8%, mostly due to an increase in contractual salaries, however offset by a decrease in diesel fuel and gasoline, as we've been experiencing low diesel fuel prices over the past few years. Our buildings and grounds department is increasing 4.3%, and the reason for that increase is due to the building additions at JFK and CV Star. At JFK, we have construction underway, and by September of 2017, we will have a 6-classroom addition built. And then at CV Star, we will have a 4-classroom addition built. Both of those building additions require an additional part-time cleaner to help staff and maintain the building, as well as an increase in our utility bills for natural gas and electricity. Also discussed on Tuesday night is something very important to the district, our proposition number 2, which is a fleet replacement plan to address the needs of our aging bus fleet. And in one of our slides, we show the age spread of our current fleet. And if you'll view my presentation from Tuesday night, you'll see that 31 of our buses are either at age 15 or over, and that represents 29% of our fleet. So we know from our experience that rust and engine failure will eventually put those buses out of commission. So what we need to do is prepare for when those buses come out of service. And the way that we prepare is by following a fleet replacement plan. And the district is committed to a fleet replacement plan for the past 4 years. And what we're proposing through proposition number 2 next year is for the purchase of 9 buses, 2 76 passengers, 3 48 passengers, 2 30 passengers, and 1 7 passenger. And you'll notice that we're purchasing a variety of different buses for our different needs. We have a unique school boundaries that require certain big buses in highly dense populated areas, and then also smaller vehicles that allow us to travel down one lane roads and cross over railroad tracks and dirt roads, etc. So proposition number 2 is to borrow $750,000 to purchase those 9 vehicles. However, we are aided by New York State for 45% of that cost. So basically that equates to a buy one, get one free deal. The first of 5 annual payments is spread out over 5 years in the same manner as a car loan. However, the first payment isn't due until 2018-19 and not the 2017-18 year which we're entering. The annual cost to the average Southeast and Patterson homeowners is just $8 and $7 respectively. So taking a look at our bus disposals and replacements by year, we've actually been able to maintain our current fleet of 106 vehicles. However, this year we've already experienced the disposal of 10 vehicles, which is above and beyond what we anticipated. We can always plan for the replacements, but what's much more difficult is to plan for the disposals. But again, we have a good idea of the buses that are going to come out of service. Again, we have 31 buses that are over 15 years old that are soon going to be coming out and need to be replaced. So the next budget presentation is on March 21st, where we'll be presenting our instruction, personnel, and benefits for the district. Please join us at the district office again Tuesday, March 21st for budget presentation number 2. And thank you for listening to my podcast.